Good evening, fellow aspirants. My name is Karam Yogi Dibakar Bothra, and again, I welcome you all to my series, Know Your Concepts in 5 Minutes. In the series, we have been discussing the various concepts which are useful for you to develop a much more broader and deeper understanding of the things which you often study in the sphere of your civil services preparations and examination. Today's concept is one which, if I directly say you, the modern capitalistic system has largely branded this concept as a culprit, deviant, kharab hai. But in reality, if you know the essence of this, you will largely feel that this notion is clearly based upon reflecting the very notions of many of the religions as well. It is so deep that the assumptions may look pretty much hollow, but at the end, this is how the society at a time was run. If I ask you or give you a particular situation that would you like to have control over you or would you want freedom? I'm pretty much sure you would choose the second one, the later one. But now, if I ask you, would you want an absolute freedom or would you largely require certain restraints on your behavior? Then I'm pretty much sure again you will follow the later. And now, if I ask you a question, should those restraints be more moral and ethical, or should those restraints be more repressive? I'm pretty much sure in this context you will choose the former. And if this is your answer, then my friend, you are anarchist. Yes. And today's concept is anarchism. In reality, there is a very superficial understanding of this concept. Even many of the people who teach political science do not have a clear understanding of what anarchism is. But being a student, you should have a very clear idea of what anarchism is. It's an ideology that is defined by the central belief. The core of anarchism is that the political authority in all its form, and especially in the form of state, is evil and unnecessary. That means, just like communism, we see anarchism is necessarily connected with state. The goal and the ultimate core of anarchism is that the state should not exist. Any form of political authority should not exist. They do not talk about not having an authority. They does certainly talk about having an authority, but those authorities should be much more internal. Anarchy literally means without rule. This, however, is a literal meaning of it. But this literal meaning is way different in the way this ideology has been propagated and practiced, or largely been used by different people or different political representatives to largely propagate their rule. Let's look into this. But before that, a small announcement. An August batch of sociology, the admissions are now open. And my friend, I can only promise to fulfill my words. And my words are pretty much clear to you that you will not require even a single page more than what you are going to study here. And you people are in a better position. This is the month of August. September is the month of your mains examination. In September, when the mains examination is conducted, I will prove it to you that at least 90% of the paper is directly from our notes. And if that is the case, then I would have proved you that this course in itself is end. You would certainly not get the quality content, and you will definitely not get that passionate mentorship which you require, or which at least UPSC requires. Whether you do that or not, that remains your choice. Do get into this batch, and believe me, you will be mesmerized. Just after the Independence Day it starts. Let's look why they are against authority. Why anarchists talk about are against any form of authority. It's an offense against the principle of freedom and equality. But the point of logic here is they are against the state authority. Why they are talking about state authority? Because they believe that this is offense, this is like a crime committed against the freedom and equality. Because if the state is there, that will restrain the freedom and that will restrain the equality. For example, the state today is restricting what you should eat, what you should wear, where you should put tilak, or where you should largely preach, and where exactly you cannot preach. If these are the things which are largely present, then definitely again from the looking from the lenses of anarchist, this is why they are against the state or political authorities. The core value of anarchism being unrestricted personal freedom. One should have personal autonomy. That autonomy should not be restricted. Let's look. If not state, how will the order be maintained? Because normally we see there is certain external force which is required in order to ensure the cohesiveness present in the society. If the state does not exist, how you are going to maintain an order? The people who are powerful, physically powerful, will largely overpower it. For example, जिसकी लाठी उसका भैंस टाइप का सा कॉन्सेप्ट शायद प्रैक्टिस में आ जाएगा. What they believe is anarchists reject political order, but they have considerable faith in natural order. That doesn't mean they talk about only lack of order. They favor disorder. No, they favor order, but that order is largely maintained not through state but through other mechanisms. That is a natural order. And what is that natural order? The understanding of social harmony is based upon their optimistic assumptions about human beings. They believe that the humans are really so nice that they will never hamper the order present in the society. Therefore, they are over optimistic about human behavior, and that's the reason they largely reject the very authority of the state. The types of anarchism, there are two forms of anarchism which are largely propagated often: collective anarchism and individual anarchism. Collective anarchism is what? It is rooted in the idea of social solidarity called as mutual aid. That is the belief that the natural and a proper relationship among people is one of sympathy, affection and harmony. They believe that the people largely are connected with each other because of the ethical values. Individual anarchists believe it is based upon the idea of individual being sovereign. That is, pursuit of self-interest should not be constrained by any external circumstances. Whatever I want to pursue in my life should not be limited or restricted by the external circumstances. Issues क्या है anarchism के अंदर? Anarchism places excessive faith in human goodness, but in reality, we do see Hobbesian theory of humans largely being brutish, selfish, and they will not hesitate to kill their own children for their own benefits. Today looks much more true today, as today the very children who have been socialized or have been largely taken care of their entire life are throwing their parents out from their respective house just because of certain gold coins. Therefore, this assumption of human behavior being very optimistic is not practical. It's much more shallow in nature. Goal of overthrowing the state is simply unrealistic, or in fact no state have largely reached this state. Only during certain types of conflicts we do see anarchism prevailing, but that is only a circumstances we are talking about, not an ideology. Views government as always corrupt and corrupting. This is again a problematic. All the anarchists believe state is always negative, against freedom, against equality. But in reality, the very existence of state has actually increased the freedom. Take an example of judiciary largely has expanded the scope of freedom present in the Indian societies by introducing social audit provisions, by largely protecting the rights of vulnerable sections, and by largely forcing the government to largely tackle the issues of corruptions as well. Therefore, there are many issues within anarchism. Achievements have highlighted the coercive power of the state and destructive nature of the political power. Although this ideology may not have fructified to the extent which we largely believe, or the people who propagated it largely believed, but in reality it did largely help us in understanding the negative consequences of the state and the political power which we have. So I hope from today at least this anarchism concept is dead clear in your genes, in your brains, in your blood. And if you want to really have that clarity as far as the sociology is concerned, that the August batch is starting, get into this. We would together take sociology to a next level. Thank you.